Web Development 101, Lesson 2, Part 2. I'm starting at Module 8, so a little bit more on images. So you can add multiple images and separate them using the break element. There are lots of different image formats. The ones that you're going to run in the most are PNG, JPEG, and GIF, including animated GIFs. Sometimes your source attribute is not going to be specified, so these are errors you might encounter for different reasons that will make your images not work. So the source is not specified, the URL is not right, the image source is corrupt or can't be displayed, or that image format is not supported by the browser. Those are some common things that you may run into. So it says challenge 6, show images on separate lines. It says add 3 or more images with source and alt attributes to the web page. Add a P or break element tags to display the images on different lines. So you're going to add 3 images. So I'm going to set up my image tag again. And I'm going to break these up with line breaks. And then I'm going to copy this and paste it 3 times. It says 3 or more images. Instead of chocolate, let's do different kinds of dogs. Mini Schnauzer. Yeah. Oh, so cute. Copy that image, paste it in. Mini Schnauzer. Let's do a golden doodle. Open that image in a new tab. Whoa, that is way too long of a link. We are not using that one. What about this one? Way too long of a link. So some of these links are going to get kind of long and weird. If you run into those, don't use them. You want regular size links. Otherwise, it makes your code super long. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. This one I'll say golden doodle. And then let's do a, Frenchie. French Bulldog. My friend has one of these. His name is Frank the Tank. He looks like this. He's a very interesting looking little dog. Alright. And now my images are so big that you can't see that there's even a break in here. So I'm going to add in a size here so you can see what is going on. A width for each of these. I'm going to do 250 pixels. And I'm just going to add that to each because I really want you to be able to see what that line break is doing to these. So see how it's adding just that little break between each image? That's what the break or the paragraph is going to do. Now for this next challenge, it wants you to add an image source and an alt and a short description for the image below using a paragraph. So I've started one here with an image source, and then in the paragraph these are ice caves in Utah. I'm going to look up another kind of ice cave. It wants you to do 3 images, so I'm going to do ice caves and images. So these are the Apostle Island ice caves. That has one of those weird long URLs to it. These are the same ones, those are the Apostle Island ones. That's a great image link. So I'm going to say IMG SRC equals, and paste that link. My alt ID is Ice Caves, Lake Superior, Wisconsin. And width, I'm going to do that 200 pixels. And end that tag. And I'm going to add a paragraph underneath there. And this paragraph is going to say whatever these are about here. Lake Superior Ice Caves. No, I don't want to read. I don't want to view. I just want to quick read a little bit. Cornucopia, Wisconsin. All right. Ice caves on Lake Superior in Cornucopia, Wisconsin. And then you need to add one more and check the code. I'm going to get an error because, well, it doesn't even care. I didn't do 3. All right, aligning text and images. So we can align content to the left, center, right, or something called justify, where it takes up the same amount of space all the way across the screen. By default, everything is left aligned because we read from left to right. This example right here has a centered text. It says change it to right. So if you click right, there's right. Here's left, and then if I go back to center, there's where that is. Content moves across the screen where you tell it to. It says you can also align images and other HTML elements using the text align. So text align center is actually aligning everything in the body in this example. So anything that falls within the body of the page will be centered. You don't need a separate thing to center the image. For this challenge, it says align the H1 element to the left, H2 to the center, and then it says H3 to the right. So H3, text, align, right, and don't forget to end that tag. World Wide Web, left, center, right. And check your code. So another cool thing that you can do with images, paragraphs, and really any element is add a border to it. And there's a lot of properties that go with borders. So you can change how the box looks around it, the color of the box, the width of the box. It's actually pretty cool. So this example here, the width of the border is defined using the border width property. And right now it says the width changes in the text. So if we change this, you shouldn't notice really anything going on there because it's not affecting the text. We're not seeing anything because there's no border style defined for the paragraph. So to set a border style, you will choose one of the following values: none, dotted, dashed, solid, double, inset or outset, and this is what they look like. These are the border style. That's none, and this is none up here. That's why you're not seeing any difference. Dotted, dashed, solid, double. Inset makes it look kind of like it's going in, like it's embossed, and then outset kind of makes it look like it's coming out at you. So here's an example, and I want you to try changing the border style. So right now it's dashed, and you can try any of these up here to see what it looks like. So if I change dashed to dotted, now there's little dotted bubbles around it. If I do double, now I have those double lines around it. The border color is going to be the same as the text, but we can also change the border color to something completely different. So in this example right here, it has the border and the text right now being purple. We can change the border color. It asks us to change it to teal, and now that border color is going to be different. You can't just use the word color though, because color is going to cover the text in a paragraph. If you want to specifically change the border to something different than the text, you have to use the border color property. We can set different borders on every single side. Don't ever do this, it looks weird. Like, look at this example. It's weird looking. This looks like something from the 80s, which, I mean, the 80s were super cool. I lived through them. However, it looks weird. Sometimes it's useful. So now you have a project that you're going to work on. You're going to create a poster web page with a title and an image using Code Editor. So you're going to have to launch this. Here's an example. It's going to have an H1 in a picture and some borders around it somewhere. This is not a graded project. However, I am going to look to see that you did it. So for this one, what you're going to do is follow the instructions all the way down. So it says that you're going to enter your poster title. So I did a cookie exchange poster where I set a bunch of, like, here, I'll play it for you. Here's my preview. It's a cookie picture on the bottom, and the date of the cookie exchange, the word cookie exchange. If you go into the tutorial, it sees it's going to have you do this basic setup. You're going to put in a title, my poster. You're going to add an image. You're going to set up your CSS styles like this, and they give you examples of what to do. And then add the poster details. So an H1, an image, H2, and a P element, to give you something that looks similar. There's some bonus challenges that you can try as well. But if you look at my example, I'm going to zoom out so you can see my code a little better. It's not a lot of code that I'm asking for in here. Mine just has one image, one paragraph tag, one H1, and I've styled each of the elements. The image, I did the with right in it. The paragraph, H1, and body, I styled here. So if you see mine, it looks like this. It's a red background with a white double border around it. And I used 2 different fonts. The next one that you're going to do is an acrostic poem. So there's just a couple practice projects for you to do, because you are going to have a graded project in here. The acrostic poem, you're going to build something that looks, let me go back where I was. Something that looks similar to this, where the first word or first letter of each word is going to be formatted differently. So for you to do this, you're going to have to do some inline HTML styling using emphasis or strong. So my example is Charlie. It's my dog Charlie. And in my acrostic, in the body, you can see I did strong around the first letter of each word that I used to describe Charlie. I also put in an image of a schnauzer that looks just like my Charlie. And then I styled my H1, my paragraph, and my body. So follow those tutorial instructions to practice these different tags and elements that we learn through this unit. They give you so much here. I'm going to make a separate video for Project 4, my favorite photos, because it is going to be a graded project. So look for a third video to go along with this lesson.